day, and you're welcome to A Guide Through Life. Thank you for tuning in today. I don't take it for granted that you're here listening, so thank you truly. Thank you. Last week, we talked about chaos that entered the world because of disobedience. We talked about how sin cracked the foundation of peace that God had originally given us. And I mentioned how chaos isn't just war or destruction, chaos is also the quiet battle we all face. The depression, anxiety, fear, heartbreak, and unanswered prayers. There's a part of life that feels heavy and hard. But even in all that, we said something important that God is our peace, is the one that calms the storm, the ones that makes us feel like everything is still going to work out. That's who He is. This week has been a really tough one for me. I found myself in a space where my energy was just so low because of the chaos in my life at the moment. I was just constantly reminded of the things that I lacked, and I was so sad about situation, even though I strongly believe that everything is going to work out for my good. I couldn't control my emotions. I was so sad, but I never doubted God, not even for once. I knew that He was working in my life, and He is working in my life. I knew I was loved by God, and this is what happens when He loves you. He wants the best for you, basically. And sometimes we need to get forged like a sword passed through fire and shaped to become sharper and better, preparing us for what He has planned for us. I just knew to keep trusting in Him and obeying, because I am a living testimony of a situation of lack. He has always come through for me. He always does, like no matter the situation. I told myself that when something great wants to happen, it gets this talk, but I will prevail because my God has never forsaken me. This leads us to today's episode, Trust and Obey. It's something that can feel almost impossible, especially in the middle of chaos. It's hard to trust and obey. Trusting and obeying God is not easy, especially when things are not going your way. It's very hard to trust. When our life feels like it's crumbling, it feels like nothing is going right. That waiting period, it's the toughest. I begged God to give me the strength to be steadfast, as I am just a weak person that doesn't even have the ability to see the wonderful future God has planned for me. So I just trust His plan with all my heart, and I'm willing to obey His word. But it's just so hard sometimes. Your heart aches. And one thing I noticed at that time is worship songs that would lift my spirits were placed in my heart, and I sang them with all my heart, in tears, relieving that huge burden I was feeling. It's easier to trust God when we can see our life getting better than when it feels like we are in a storm. That is way harder. It's harder to trust Him that way. So just to relate it to the Bible, there's someone in the Bible who truly showed us what trust and obedience look like. God, Abraham, who is a part of Noah's descendants, he is a man who didn't have all the answers, but he had the heart to follow God truly. Imagine being told to leave your home, leave your family, leave everything you have, leave your comfort zone, everything, and just go. God told Abraham to go to a land I will show you. Without no destination, no map, nothing, just God's voice. And Abraham just went. But he didn't even complain. He didn't give any excuse, he just moved. I can imagine if that happens today, we would think the person is dumb. Asking questions like, do you even know where you're going to? Is it better than where you're coming from? How are you even sure it's God that is speaking to you? I can't understand that kind of relationship with God. We can't believe that God has the time to speak to us, or maybe we aren't even worded enough to listen to God. But realize that no one is worthy enough. If you let him in, if you're willing and hungry and thirsty for him, you shall receive. It would quench that thirst, that hunger for him. Abraham trusted God with everything. He trusted God in every situation, even when God promises does not make sense. God showed him the stars and told him, "You will be father of all nations. Your descendants will be like the stars." And Abraham still believed, but he wondered, I don't even have a son of my own. How do I have a nation so countless? But he believed. He believed regardless. Even when God promised him a child eventually, it was just like, I am too old. Sarah, my wife, is old. How do we have children? But he still believed. Abraham believed so well that God considered Abraham righteous, not because he was perfect, but because of his faith. Righteousness is about living in obedience with God, majorly about faith and trust. We can never be perfect, honestly. We can only try to be better people by obeying God's word. To be righteous is not about being perfect, it's just about saying, I trust you, I believe in you, I want to obey you. Where you ask me to go, I will go. Because when you follow God, you don't miss your step, you're always on the right path. The part that even blew my mind was after God gave him that son, something he has been wanting, something he has been craving, something that he has always been asking for. And God asked him to sacrifice that same child. I can't even imagine that. God asked Abraham to sacrifice his only son. Maybe not his only son because he had a child with the sling, but his only son from his beloved wife. And he obeyed without asking questions. It wasn't easy for him because I can't imagine saying, you know what, God has given me this son, let me go and sacrifice it to God. Even when Isaac asked him, Dad, where is the lamb we're going to sacrifice? I can imagine what was going through that was my like, okay, we're going to make a sacrifice. Where is the lamb? And Abraham answered that God will provide him. Not knowing that he is the sacrifice. And Abraham just went, regardless, not thinking about anything, He just wanted to obey. But God provided a lamp. That was when God saw that Abraham was faithful. He saw that Abraham had so much faith in him, and Abraham obeyed. That's the next level of faith, like some really, really next level of faith. That kind of obedience, it comes from knowing God on a deep level, knowing him personally. You want me to do this, I'll go. You want me to do this, I'll go. Moses did that. He obeyed God until he disobeyed and he was punished for it. It was punished by not saying Canaan land, not like he went to hell, but he was punished for it. So Abraham was blessed abundantly for his obedience. Many of us can't imagine doing what Abraham did. I can't even imagine it too. Because some of us struggle with, basic habits that doesn't glorify God. To even let that go is very difficult. We struggle to let go of temporary pleasures for something deeper. But the truth is, God is not trying to take from us. He's trying to grow us. He's trying to shape us into people who live by faith, not by feeling, or not just by feeling. You just say, okay, I believe that God is going to do this for me, and I totally believe, and that's how I'm going to live my life, believing that God is going to do this for me. So He wants to make us that people. He wants to put us in a situation where we'll always be on the right path. Not just, I feel like this is the best thing for me. I'm laughing now because I have been in that situation countless of times where I feel like this is the best thing. I feel like I should go this way. I feel like I should do this. I feel like, but nowadays, when I'm confused, I just close my eyes to pray and say, God, what do you want me to do? Tell me one way or the other. I'll do it. I will be you because I can't do this on my own. I can't. It's tough. I want to do your will so that I would align with your word for me, your purpose for me. That's the decision I made. So if you're in a season of waiting, or it feels like God is asking you to do something scary, maybe it's just time to let go. Maybe it's time for you to say, you are God. There is none like you. You want me to do this? No problem. I know that you're the one that saw that this is not good for me. And I know that you're the one that is going to see what is good for me. So if you want me to do this, no problem. But many people hear from God to quit their jobs and they're just too afraid of what comes after that. You know that you don't have a source of income. Next thing is sakwa. There is hunger. There is you're starving. That's what people think. But they don't know that God has promised to always be there for us, to feed us. But that fear is holding us back. Imagine you're working at a place that pays as low as 100K monthly. And you have a dream to be a multi-millionaire. I don't know how you want to become a multi-millionaire from 100K monthly. Because ordinary feeding, ordinary expenses would take nothing less than 60% of that. So even if you decide to save 40K every month, that 40K, it would take you probably 10 years to even have almost 5 million naira in your account. 10 years. So if it's telling you to leave your job, quit this job, this place is not for you, and you're scared of, oh, what will I eat? And you're not looking at, when I leave this job, I would be fine. I would be all right. But I'm working towards something greater. I'm working towards my dream. One of the things that holding people back, they don't know, is that thing that God asked them to leave. That job is holding you back. So if God tells you to leave and you trust Him with all you have, it's best to just obey. You can't disobey and start complaining and wailing because you put yourself in that position. Because God told you to leave and you did not listen. If God not really means you, if God say, you know what, you're so stubborn, you're good. I'm telling you something you're not hearing. You're not listening to me. Leave that job. I don't listen. They might sack you. That's the truth. They might sack you. And when they sack you, you will cry. You say, what is happening to me? What is this? I'm going through a lot. Why is everything going so bad? And when you eventually look back, you realize that the place you are now is better than that job that you lost few months ago, a year ago. You say, oh, assuming I was still at this job, I would not have what I have right now. God will help you reach your full potential if you decide to obey Him. On the other side of obedience is blessing. A blessing that you can't imagine. A blessing that you didn't even see yourself experiencing. Abraham's obedience led to a covenant. A promise that still blesses generations to today. Because of Abraham, Jacob was blessed, which is, Israel. Is the promise that God made to Abraham that the Israelites enjoyed. Because if not, those people, they are very stubborn human beings. Their story marvels me because even though they saw God's miracle, they still complained. They still did not trust Him. They still questioned out of fear. and we are not so different from them. So today, choose to trust, choose to obey, not because it's easy, but because God is faithful. Even when we can't see it yet, He knows what He's doing, and you know He lives outside of time and space, and He has always known us from our mother's womb. So He is the only one that could possibly know what's best for you. And when you trust and obey, you walk in a path that aligns with the success or greatness in your future. You find yourself leading your dream life. Your life feels like it's getting better. Your life even feels easier. That's what happens when you trust and obey. Thank you again for tuning in to A Guide Through Life. I pray this episode blesses you. Till next time. And until then, stay faithful and keep walking with God. Bye.